Hello, this is a Yamaha G3 grand piano, 180 centimeters long. That's a 6'1" approximately, and it was made in 1980. It was imported originally from Japan. You can always tell that if you look here. You can see what contained the Japanese tuning card. That's always a clear sign that it was originally sold in Japan and then imported as a second-hand item. The casework's in good condition, no damage to it apart from the light scratching you're obviously going to get when you put the music on the music stand. And you can see this felt here is not worn through at all, so that's encouraging. We actually purchased the piano from a client in Oxford, although it's not a piano that we sold ourselves. As we mentioned, very often we get pianos back in, but this was actually not the piano we sold ourselves. Tuning pins are very tight, and the piano we have cleaned up at the inside of the piano. It was dusty and so on, but is in perfect condition otherwise. That's a mothball. We just found some of these to put in pianos. It's not what we normally use. That's in a packet. We would normally use lavender spray or something like that, but it's really important to protect pianos from moth. Can you be surprised? Even modern pianos these days very often get moth damage, and obviously it's very distressing. And you can if you get moth in the felt here, then you can't really get rid of that unless you restring the whole piano. You have to replace the felt, so that's something to avoid. And lavender spray, cedar, we've got a mixture of cedar and lavender spray, which is a good way of doing things. If you're in the piano trade and have got a better idea, please do let us know. The action's in excellent condition. The hinges here, for instance, are very tight. They're not over tight, so we check the hammers that they aren't, so don't need lubricating here. But the piano does need lubricant generally. If you lift the keys up, you can see they're not falling back down again. It could well be it hasn't been lubricated since it came over from Japan. That's quite common, so we need to lubricate the balance pin here and the hole underneath. We've got videos showing that, and really important, and it makes a difference to the touch. And then we can then even out the touch after that, and also lubricate the roller here with some talc. Now that's really important actually. It's surprising how much that affects the touch. It affects the initial inertia and then the general smoothness. So all new pianos have talc on that. New pianos with Renner actions, for instance, they always have talc there, and I think most manufacturers put talc there as well. We have already raised the hammer height, which is slightly low, probably about that much, and also we've regulated the let off springs, etc. If you look at when I release the back check here, by taking my finger off the key a little bit, it releases the back check, and then you can see the hammer springing upwards, not too fast, but enough for good repetition really, and it should be a genuine positive up without being felt in the key. So a lot of the work's already been done on this piano. There's a list that someone made of the work that needed doing. Lubrication hasn't been done yet, so that's the one job that we'll have to do. So lubricating with talc on the balance rail and then on the roller, and then we will check the weighting of the keys. But it's already quite light generally, so we may have to make them slightly heavier. We mentioned this so many times, so I hope it doesn't bore you if you've heard it before, but around about 53 is fine for the bass. Middle would be 48, 40, possibly 40. It's round about 50, and then a bit lower than 50 if you want a lighter action, a bit more if you want heavier action, and then 44 is not too bad for the top treble. So just evening it out a bit. I noticed there's a 38 here. So once that's lubricated, we will then do reweighting all the keys to get them like a new piano. Just want to mention something here. You notice date assessed there is early September, so 1st of September, and in fact here, according to this, it was the third piano that was the first piano in September, number 1. So that code there says it's 2023 September 01, first piano in. So the price is put optimistic price to start with, and then gradually brought down, and as it's been in for 3 months now, we really want to sell it. We don't want pianos to be in for more than 3 months, so it'll be discounted until it's sold. So if you look at the price, it'll be lower than it was originally. So that's the Yamaha G3, made in 1980, 180 centimeters long. That's about 6'1". It's a very inspiring piano. I played this for quite a long time before I made the video and really enjoyed it. It has a very fluid mechanism, and it will be even better once it's lubricated, and just fine regulation. We've done most of the fine regulation already. I was thinking about increasing the key dip a little bit. I like an 11mm key dip, but I'm going to have to really think about that one hard. It does feel good as it is, and 10.3, 10.5 is quite normal for grand pianos, so that's a personal thing very much. Keyboards tend to have 11 or more, and that's why very often I like increasing the key dip, because people are used to electronic keyboards and pianos tend to be a bit less, though some pianos are 11, so it's a personal thing really. There's a bit of voicing. That hammer's a bit bright. So we're trying to perfect it as much as possible and make it as much like a new piano as we can, and really play as well as any new piano. There's absolutely no reason why you need to buy a new piano to practice on if you have a well-regulated piano from the 80s. So I hope that's helpful. Thank you so much for listening. If you're interested, please do email info@robertspianos.com.